Thank you for joining. I'm Leussink. I'm a program manager at Dialog Semiconductor. I've included an overview slide of Dialog Semiconductor for your later reference. But basically, we are a fabless semiconductor company, and we specialize in high growth, high volume markets. So we go for the smartphone, the tablet, everything surrounded around those devices. And we have an excellent track record in power management, chips, and also in low power design and in Den Bosch. We have a business unit specifically for connectivity devices where we make wireless chips. So my talk today is about Yuly, one of the technologies that we promote, and how we position that technology as a standard in the market, and what we think our role is to get basically from the vision that we have today of what the Internet of Things could be, really into the home, into the consumer area where we can say, yes, we finally fully capitalize on that market. And in order to do that, there's a couple of things that we always need to keep in mind for ourselves that we see as very important in rolling out these products. One is that the customer actually expects different things from their devices as they would a couple of years ago. They expect a much more service-oriented approach. So they are looking at those devices and not thinking, what can I do with the device, but what can the device do for me? And that's quite a change. And in order to roll out a service-oriented product, you will need to involve in a much more complex value chain. And that's one of the things that we've been struggling with and that we want to encourage everybody to think about, and how each and every one of us contribute to this value chain, how we can partner up in it. So, looking first at the market and what we are aiming for and what our vision is. I think what we see is a couple of kids, not my kids, or not that I know of, but I took these pictures of the internet because I'm sure it will resonate with you as well. I'm always amazed at when I see babies even interacting with the device, interacting with the internet so seamlessly, just operating those devices, and you see people more and more starting to rely on that connectivity aspect. And we see people more and more relying on having access to data everywhere, not being scared of sharing, having open interoperable networks. And actually, so I've got a cartoon as well. Actually, what we see is that people not only are moving in this direction, if you take it away from people, they are seriously starting to show psychological issues like anxiety, depression, if you take it away. So imagine if I were to take the internet away from you guys for 1 week. No email, no news feeds, nothing. For me, that would be quite a big impact, and I would start to feel, hey, I'm missing things. And if you go back around 10 or 15 years and consider what the situation was then, that was exactly that. So in 15 to 10 years, I've completely become dependent on this thing. And if I then take the same period, roll it out into the future and think, what will it be 10 years from now? I have no idea. But the only thing I do know is that this will continue to evolve. And of course, that's exactly what we're targeting to capitalize on. A Bosch Internet of Things marketing study showed these figures in a very interesting graph. And what we see is that the green balls are the number of people on this planet, and the blue balls is the number of internet-connected devices, so laptops, smartphones, but also general devices. And what we see in 2015, already 75%, which is 5.5 billion, we will have in internet-connected devices versus number of people in the world. And taking into account that we know 2020 there's a mythical number of 50 billion devices that we will see connected to the internet, we know that we're approaching the point very quickly where we have more internet connected devices than we have people in the world. Your home, also already connected, done. In the Netherlands, we have one of the highest percentage of internet penetration in the world. And definitely in Europe, there's a very high percentage of all the houses being connected. So, if we have so many internet-connected devices, we have home being connected, we have a market vision out there, why is this stuff not happening yet? Well, the issue is, of course, as you know, that your equipment in the home is not connected yet. And this is where we position Yuly. The DEC technology from introduction has gone on to dominate the cordless telephony market. So the reason why this has become the case is because it's a very robust, reliable technique. So a number of features in the technology, like the fact there's no network planning, the range is enough to cover your entire house. It's very easy to set up, has taken the technology from the start to basically something invisible in the home. And we estimate around 800 million actively running systems in the world today. So we thought, hey, this technology with all the assets that consumers have accepted as a very easy access technology, let's add a low power mode. And that's exactly what we did. And that's DECT Yuly. The vision for DECT Yuly is that we've added a low power mode like Zigbee or Z-Wave to the chipsets. And basically we can take all the assets of the DECT standard and bring it into home automation and security markets. For this reason, we have created the Yuly Alliance. So the Yuly Alliance has been started in Q1 this year. And 5 promoter members are coming from the DECT world. And we have a growing number of members on the bottom there. So it's very exciting to see where we're acquiring members as we speak. So it's quite a new alliance. But basically the mission of the Yuly Alliance is what I just mentioned, to promote the DECT Yuly technology and to take this very nice, very mature, very reliable standard into the markets of home automation and security. Just a couple of points on the Yuly Alliance. So as I mentioned, we started in Q1 this year, and we are basing all of the work of the Yuly Alliance on work that's previously been done in the ETSI. So DECT Yuly is a ETSI standardized technology, which is quite special. Other technologies are industry de facto standards, but we've developed this technology like GSM, which is the world's most successful standard, through the ETSI. And the companies working on the standard in ETSI have taken care, so also us, that we have had running code up against the standardization at all times. So we've done multiple interop events even before the standard was there, just to make sure that there's no ambiguity in there, that people interpret the standard in a different way, to make sure that we had something which is mature and workable out of the gate. What we are now working on is to formulate what the application layer on the technology should be, but we are taking a very open approach here. So we really want to leverage what already is out there. As I mentioned, we're promoting an access technology, so we are very aware that as a semiconductor company, and actually as a DECT community, we can provide an access link, and that's what we want to do. That's where our added value stops, so that's our position in the value chain. So in the application layer, we design it so that we can hook into other systems like ETSI 1M2M, or for instance, that we can have manufacturers come in and define their own profiles, which can be certified within the Yuly Alliance. We plan to present this approach at the Smart Homes in October this year in the Netherlands, so that's very exciting stuff. Next to the Yuly Alliance, where we drive the standardization of the application layer, we have a number of products which are out on the market. So just to make you aware of these early adopters and this technology coming out onto the market, I just wanted to highlight 2 of those. Gigaset is launching a product portfolio that they call Elements, which is a security solution at first, and later on they will move into home automation. So you should think about door sensors, motion sensors, and later on they will also go on to launch a different set of devices focused more on comfort. AVM, which is a German company, a leading provider of gateways, has launched a smart plug, which you can sync, for instance, to Google Calendar to make sure that it switches on and off whenever you want, and it measures the energy consumption of your devices, so you can also track what's going on your grid. So quite exciting, quite innovative stuff that we see there. And actually one step further, the nice thing about DECT Yuly is not only the reliability, the ease of use, but most of you will already have a DECT Yuly capable gateway in your house. Because the gateway manufacturers and the service providers have come together and said we want to offer triple play packaging. So we offer internet, we offer TV, and we offer voice, the telephony part. And for the telephony part, they've integrated DECT into their gateway. With a simple software update, we can actually use the same hardware in that gateway to support these DECT Yuly nodes. So with a simple software update of the gateway, we can enable home automation, security devices, without having to install a completely new system. So we have millions installed base out there, and this is something we're very actively targeting towards, to move those service operators to reuse the hardware that they already have in the house. And of course, that's where the fun starts, right? I mean, I don't have to tell you this. If you do have all those services connected, if you do have the complete model worked out, you can have applications. I've just picked one. This is one I find fascinating, that you indeed use the fact that you can track your location, and if you come close to your home, you can control your heating. You don't have to do it yourself. And this is a typical example where you have the devices work for you rather than you have to set some difficult thermostat or you control it over the internet. No, the device itself determines when you are home and makes sure that your home is already heated, cooled, whatever is needed. Another thing next to those services, which is important from our perspective that we see our customers often mentioning, is also the big data. So obviously, when you do provide services into the home, then you see you can also collect data from the home. And if you collect data from the home, you can use it again to enhance your services. So you can have a comparison. If you have a certain energy consumption in your home, you can compare it to neighbors, whether they're, using more, using less. You can make some sort of a race out of it also. So that's quite interesting, and we see that in Bloomberg reports, it's a 270 billion market. Well, it's a very big number. Obviously, these are many markets combined. But once again, I must stress, we do see that also our customers ask us really focus on the services that we can provide and come together so that we can use a service-oriented platform. This is something I didn't expect, actually. I expected the slide just to pop up, so I'll do it like this. So in those service-oriented approaches, what's going wrong? I mean, yes, I've said the devices in your home are not connected, but we do have technologies to do this. But then, if we promote those technologies, one of the big hurdles that we do see is that it's a very complex value chain that we are up against. So the revenue is coming from the consumer. They are buying the subscriptions, and the service provider, of course, is getting the cash. And then the service provider needs to talk to equipment manufacturers, needs to talk to system providers, needs to talk to sensor node providers. And all these guys need to come together. And then at the bottom, there's also some guy doing the semiconductor parts for this. But we see it's quite difficult to figure out how exactly to cut the pie from getting the service down to what should we charge for the hardware, who gets what in the business model. So we're very much focused on where do we add value and standardize up to the level that we feel we add value to, and stop there. Summarizing, we feel there's a golden opportunity. If you focus on services, if you get a service-oriented approach, and what we propose there in order to roll that out is to definitely make use of the existing hardware which is out there. So I mentioned we have a lot of DECT in the gateway, so that's what we're promoting a lot. And we are encouraging everybody, of course, to identify their own position in this value chain. And for manufacturers, semiconductor companies, and service providers to really think outside of their common business models and come together on this.